Welcome to PUC-Cast for 2008 and 9. This is the 5th episode. It's going to be a little bit of a political PUC-Cast here. If you missed it, there was a political party, but don't worry, because we're going to have a little political party here with my friends Cristina Alba and Dr. Fulton from the psychology department. Also my co-host, Alisa, and I'm Blake Pinland. So let's get this political party started. First order of business. If you'd like to buy this phone, talk to me later. Okay, so we're here talking about some political stuff, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're talking about Prop 8.
Dun, 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 Prop 8.
Wow. So a lot of controversy over Prop 8. Does anyone know what it's about? Alisa, what's it about?
Heterosexual marriages?
Pretty sure we have those legalized already.
Okay, the opposite.
Okay, so homosexual marriages.
Okay.
Wow. So big controversy on that. And it's kind of in confusing terms, right?
Yes.
Do you know how it's written?
I believe if you vote yes, you are no, and if you vote no, you are yes. If that makes any sense.
Typical bureaucrats.
Dr. Fulton, can you summarize this proposition for us?
Well, Proposition 8 would restrict marriage to a man and a woman. The Constitution of California currently guarantees all residents of California the right to get married. And this proposition would restrict that just to men and women.
If I'm not mistaken, that came about through a Supreme Court ruling
That's right.
in...
Last May.
Was that in May?
California
16th.
Supreme Court ruled that the Constitution gives everyone the right to get married.
Okay. So now, I'm a little confused. Are you for Prop 8?
I think I'm going to take the no side on this one, Blake.
Now, give us some reasoning why you're against Prop 8 here.
I am passionately against Proposition 8, and I think the question that is being asked of California voters next Tuesday is, should we impose the religious beliefs of one group of people on everybody? I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. I've been a Seventh-day Adventist for most of my life. And the Adventist Church has always fought vigorously to protect the religious liberty of everybody. This church has consistently defended the rights of people who we disagree with strongly. And we do that because we don't want some majority down the line to try to restrict our religious liberty. So I think if you imagine that the wording of this proposition was not restricting marriage to men and women, but requiring people to go to church on Sunday and not Saturday, you would see why most Adventists would be very afraid and skeptical of any attempt to impose one particular religious belief on everybody else.
Well, that is a comparison of putting one's religious beliefs on the line for voting. Now, bringing it to your side of the table, how do you respond to that, or more so, I guess, why are you for?
Well, in response to what Dr. Fulton said, I think on the flip side of the coin, with not having marriage defined between a man and a woman and having it to open to all residents, I think that we need to question what kind of, issues come with that, because then aren't their beliefs being imposed on me with saying, it's between a man and a woman, or between a man and a man, or between a woman and a woman. And so it's like, I don't feel that way, but yet we are writing it into legal code or not writing it so that, people like that can get married. And I don't know, I just like to present the other side, I really don't think it's so much of a religious liberty issue as far as if we define it, that our religious rights will be taken away, because the whole point of this is to separate the religious rights from just our rights in general as a citizen, to keep the church and the state separated. So by defining it, it's almost like it's like a gray area. I think right now there's less chance that legally, they might impose their rights on me. Like we were having this discussion down at the political party, talking about what happens. Okay, if we define it, can somebody say, well, since it's how I feel defining marriage, then well, how does polygamy come into it? You know, if I feel that that's the way that somebody can get married and I'm happy with 5 wives, then why not take it there? Because that's how I feel. And
Or husbands.
Or husbands. Or husbands. And let's take it there. You know, that's how I feel about it, and we don't want to impose our rights on anybody, and we want to have everybody have religious freedom. So the thing is, like, where does it stop? That's my issue with it. Like, where would it stop?
Okay, and I've heard a lot about people saying it's the word marriage, the word marriage. So when you're looking at this proposition, is it defining the word marriage as being just for male and females, or is it also looking at, let's say, taking away the domestic partnership or the rights that come along with that? Am I making sense on my question? Is if we say yes on Prop 8, is that taking away the domestic partnership rights as well, or is it just taking away the word marriage?
No, in no way is it taking away the domestic partnership rights. Here in the state of California, I understand it that we have the most rights for domestic partnerships just because of a large population that we have here. I understand that they have rights anywhere from visitation in hospitals to transferring over a certain amount of property and estate if there is a death. There's a lot of rights held by them. The only thing that they would be exempt from, I believe, is federal tax cuts or federal tax exemptions that fall under the umbrella of the word marriage, which is defined federally.
Which is not insignificant.
Exactly.
But I do agree with Christine. I think the issue is, I think it's important to understand that we will still have domestic partnerships even if Proposition 8 passes. But I find it ironic because often opponents to Proposition 8 are accused of trying to devalue marriage or attack marriage. But I think it's actually the contrary. If we're trying to say that there's no real difference between domestic partnerships and marriage, it seems like we're trivializing what marriage really means. I'm quite sure that if my wife was here and we asked her, do you want to give up your marriage and just have a domestic partnership, she would see that as a tremendous loss. What is that value that we attach to marriage? Well, I have been married for 20.
Edit.
20-some.
I've been married for 21 years, and I value that relationship highly.
Yeah.
It means more to me than just a legal contract. I'm not sure why we would want to deny any two people who love each other, value each other, and want to make a public commitment. Why would we deny them the same benefits to marriage that I have been able to enjoy for the last 21 years? To me, it's a religious liberty issue. It's also a social justice issue. And I really feel constrained as an Adventist and as a Christian to oppose this attempt to deny some of our fellow citizens their basic rights. We don't have to agree with each other. I see people in my line of work every day who I think shouldn't be married. And I can give my opinion about that if I want to, but I don't think we should pass a law that says that only people that I happen to think should be married are allowed to get married. That would seem to be silly. I want to say one thing to Cristina. Under no circumstances would anybody infringe on your rights. If you don't want to marry a gay person, then don't marry a gay person. No one's going to force you to marry a gay person.
I was worried about that.
That's right. So I don't think there's any threat to heterosexual people. Nothing about their life is going to be imposed on or harmed in any way. And in fact, I think most people think that there's a lot of stability that comes from marriage, and that if gay relationships were allowed to be publicly solemnized by marriage, they would be